This is Amy Poehler. My new movie, Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, is coming to theaters June 14th, and it's making me feel joy and sadness and anger, definitely some disgust, Rose, and I think a little fear. Really? But I'm also feeling these new emotions like anxiety, embarrassment, envy, and ennui.
It's what you call the boredom.
Okay, that one was weird. It's gonna be the feel everything movie of the summer. Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, only in theaters June 14th. Get tickets now.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Spin, Shuffle, Skip on the There Can Only Be One podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. It is soundtrack time on Spin, Shuffle, Skip this weekend as we are preparing for the release of the brand new Crow movie. We figured it would be a cool thing to do to go back and take a look at some of the soundtracks from past Crow movies. And here to join me down on this little walk down Soundtrack Boulevard is the angel of my life, my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing today?
Oh, well played.
I thought so.
Woo!
Yeah, I had to come up with something, right? So we are, over the next couple of weeks, tackling two different Crow soundtracks. And this week, we're tackling the Crow City of Angels, which is the second Crow film. So when tasked with this CD, how tough was it for you to go through this one and make your picks?
This one wasn't so bad after all.
It wasn't so bad?
No. However, more on that later.
Yeah, tune in a couple of weeks and you'll hear Carrie start to really cringe and probably cuss me out a lot. but
it's going to happen. It's a real deal.
Yeah. I mean, this came out in 1996. This is when soundtracks are still a massive thing because the 90s and soundtracks were absolutely golden. And I remember spending this one a lot because there were some cool, moody stuff on it. And 1996, I may have been into some moodier music. You know, maybe it may have happened.
Aw.
Right?
Did you dress all in black and put the face paint?
No, I wasn't full goth. I wasn't full emo. But I mean, I still dress in all black, so I don't see the difference. It's just that the clothes are a little bit nicer.
But you didn't do the eye makeup.
Oh God, no. Because if I did it, it would look like literally someone trying to put on makeup in an airplane during turbulence.
Is my makeup okay?
Answer: no, it wouldn't have been. No, that wasn't a me thing, but the music for certain. And here's what we're going to do. We are about to go through the Crow City of Angels soundtrack and pick 3 songs each, a spin, a shuffle, and a skip. The spin is the one that's probably the first song we put on when we put the disc in. The shuffle, hey, you know what? If it's on, it's cool. We'll listen to it. And the skip does not necessarily mean that it's a song that we would absolutely skip. It just means it's our last pick on the CD sometimes, because there are some CDs out there that are front to back, all killer, no filler. I'm not going to say whether I think this one is that album or not. I'll let you guys decide. By the way, we do have some picks over from our website. Sherry Thomas from the Aquarian chimed in with her picks. Her spin was Spit. Her shuffle was I'm Your Boogeyman by White Zombie. And her skip was Lil Boots by Pet. We'll see in a second if any of our picks align with those. Now, if you want to get your voice heard, your picks out there, go to our website at notthatbadcast.com and go to the Coming Soon page where you're going to see all the episodes that we are preparing in the future. And there's a spot for you to get your picks in. We love to hear from you. We want to shout you guys out in the show. So by all means, go to notthatbadcast.com and drop your picks. So now we get to the actual CD itself. Released July 29th, 1996. The album is platinum in the US and gold in Canada. Now, funny thing, apparently, according to MTV News, this album was actually banned in Korea and Singapore. Now, according to the article that I read from MTV, this was in response to some of the lyrics in the songs by Korn, Deftones, and Above the Law. So I never really took a deep dive into the lyrics on some of these songs, but apparently Korn, Deftones, and Above the Law, that ain't happening in Korea and Singapore in 1996.
Now, hold up. Is it just the soundtrack songs, or are those bands banned in Korea as well?
Well, apparently, again, this is one of the things where the CD was not being sold in 1996 in those countries. So take that for what it is. That's the article that was on MTV News. And keep in mind, too, that is almost 30 years ago. So I'm feeling kind of old. I'm feeling a little decrepit. Hopefully, Korea and Singapore have heard the CD by then.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
But now we get to our picks. Carrie, off of the Crow City of Angels soundtrack, what is your spin pick?
Every single chance I get, I'm spinning White Zombie or Rob Zombie or any kind of zombie, but not zombie from the Cranberries. I'm Your Boogeyman is my spin. I love this song.
Yeah, I mean, if someone told me that White Zombie was going to cover Casey and the Sunshine Band and put it on a Crow soundtrack, that's not exactly the connection I had on my bingo card. But I mean, it's White Zombie, and they might have been one of the only bands at the time that could have pulled this off. And it is actually one of my favorite songs. I will say this, Rob Zombie and White Zombie at the time, they were killer when it came to some of their covers. Like their version of Children of the Grave by Black Sabbath, I'm not going to lie, and this might be a controversial statement, I like that version better than the original. Rob Zombie slayed that one. And White Zombie did a phenomenal job with this one. I completely agree. It's not any of my picks because I don't feel like I'm Your Boogeyman kind of fit in with the Crow vibe. And there's the thing. This CD has the monumental task of following up, in my opinion, the greatest soundtrack CD of the 1990s, bar none. No matter what genre of film, the Crow 1994 soundtrack is the pinnacle. That is the on the Mount Rushmore of 90s soundtracks, and it's probably the first head on that Mount Rushmore. So, I mean, it's kind of like, and we've talked about this before. We actually talked about it recently in our No Doubt There Can Only Be One episode, where you have an album that does worldwide blockbuster success, and then you got to follow it up. And everything's going to be compared to that. This was, of course, going to be compared to the first soundtrack. This is taking the movie out of the equation, right? Because let's be honest, every Crow movie since the Brandon Lee original has paled in comparison to that. I don't know how this new Crow film is going to do. I hope it does well. I'm psyched for it. But every other Crow film pales in comparison to the Brandon Lee original. Every Crow soundtrack also does the same because it was that damn good. I don't know. Did I'm Your Boogeyman feel like it fit the Crow vibe?
Well, I see what you're saying, but I just so enjoyed this song. I mean, I have a choreo for it, and every Halloween I look forward to doing my Halloween dance class. And this is like literally one of my favorites. When it comes on, I just can't help but smile, even though, it's a Halloween theme. I don't know. I just so enjoy it. I really do.
I will say, as a Halloween vibe, it's a Casey and the Sunshine Band cover. So technically speaking, it's probably the happiest, boppiest Halloween song you're going to find out there by a metal band. And I kind of like that.
You said by a metal band because I'm like, well, there's the...
Yeah, no, by a metal band.
Okay.
There is a caveat.
There's the Witch Doctor.
There's the asterisk.
Right.
Now, if Rob Zombie did a cover of the Witch Doctor...
Oh my God. I would lose my mind.
I am the witch doctor. Sounded more like James Hetfield, but we'll go with that.
Right.
My spin pick is a band that in the 90s I was spinning constantly. It's Shelf Life by Seven Mary 3. So let me kind of give you the Seven Mary 3 layout here. 1996 falls right in between the releases of American Standard, which was their quote-unquote debut album, although there was an independent release beforehand, but most of those songs were re-recorded and put onto American Standard. And then in 1997, you had Rock Crown, which was a very moody album. Shelf Life kind of fit right in the pocket of both those albums. To me, this is one of my favorite Seven Mary 3 songs of all time. And when the day finally comes that we do a Seven Mary 3 episode of There Can Only Be One, I am going to be cursing the day that the podcast was created because this song is not on Rock Crown. It's not on one of those studio albums. So I won't be able to pick this song, and I'm going to be grumbling when that day comes.
So pick it now.
I did. It's my spin pick, right? This is why soundtracks are allowed on Spin Shuffle Skip, because occasionally there are those songs where you can't pick it because it's not on a studio album. Singles is going to be that day, because when it comes to Pearl Jam, I guarantee you my favorite Pearl Jam song of all time is State of Love and Trust, and that's only on the Singles soundtrack. So I'm going to dread that one. I keep on saying the word moody a lot with this album, and that lines up with my shuffle pick. And that's Knock Me Out featuring Linda Perry and Grace Slick. Look, you take the singer of Four Non-Blondes and the singer of Jefferson Starship, and you put them together, and you're going to get this. The best way I can describe is picture yourself. It's 2:00 in the morning. You're in some Brooklyn, Chicago, dark, late night, all night, smoky blues bar. And this is the song that's playing. And these are the voices that you hear. And I don't know whether this song will get you more drunk or sober you the F up. But this song is, I put this on many a mixtape because it was just so like it was that song. It was so good.
I would say yes to all of it. It's my shuffle pick as well.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we actually matched up on anything. I think this might actually be the first time in Spin Shuffle Skip history that we've actually matched an exact pick. I'd have to go back and listen to some of our past episodes, but I don't think we've ever actually aligned. Like, we've had times where your spin was my skip and vice versa. I don't think we've ever actually lined up on that song in that spot at the same time. And yeah, it's a phenomenal song. It is an absolutely phenomenal. Like, honestly, if it wasn't for Shelf Life, this was going to be my spin. But Shelf Life is, I mean, I love Seven Mary 3 to begin with. So that's the only reason why this isn't my spin. Seven Mary 3 for the win. So both of our shuffle picks were Knock Me Out. So now we get to your skip pick.
Well, I am so sorry to your listener, which I know this was the spin, but I gotta go with Spit as my pass, my skip.
You know what? I can't disagree with that one. I mean, I get, and this is why I love these shows so much, because there are no right or wrong answers, and someone can love something that you hate and vice versa, and it's all good. There is no right or wrong. It's music. It's completely and utterly subjective.
I think for the record, though, is that to me, it was just the underdog. It was, I mean, there are so many great songs that out of all of the great songs, it was just the one that I had to choose. But again, as far as a compilation, as far as a soundtrack, like, my hat's off to, I don't know, the music director or whomever put
Yeah.
these songs together.
Whoever is the soundtrack coordinator did a phenomenal job. So far, we've named quite a few songs off this album, but not my skip pick. My skip is Jurassitol by Filter. Now, I need to preface this in that I'm not the biggest Filter fan to begin with. I think it's the lead singer's voice. I just can't get over it. Like, hey man, nice shot. No.
Really?
Yeah.
I am shocked.
Yeah. I mean,
but you also don't like Stained. So
no, I don't.
Yeah, so
which is
it's
funny
interesting.
because Mike Mushok, of course, is in Saint Asonia as well, and Saint Asonia is freaking awesome. The singer can make or break the band, and I'm not, again, if you're a Filter fan out there, dear listeners, please, it's okay if you at me. I'm not going to sit there and bend to your will. I'm just going to sit there and say, great, you love Filter? That's awesome. I'm not the biggest fan. That's also awesome, and that's okay. Trust me when I say Filter doesn't need me as a fan. They do well enough on their own. But the thing is, there are certain bands, and no matter how good the band is, the singer's just taking me out of it, or vice versa. You know, it's funny. There was a cover done recently. Our good friend Brian Colbert of My Weekly Mixtape sent me a message saying, guess what? This band did this cover of Silent Lucidity from Queensrÿche. And I took a listen to it. I'm like, not Jeff Tate, not even Todd LaTorre. No, just no. And it wasn't good. But yeah, for this song, like, Take My Picture is on my list of songs that I would instantly skip if it was on the radio. I would actually change the channel if I was listening to the radio and that came on. That's where I'm at with Filter. So Jurassitol, it's kind of a no-brainer for me as my skip pick. And again, that's nothing personally against the band. Just it does not float my boat. It does not. All right, Carrie, thank you for this first trip down the Crow soundtrack row. Now, please remind our listeners what your spin, shuffle, and skip picks were.
I am spinning I'm Your Boogeyman, I'm shuffling Knock Me Out, and skipping Spit.
And for me, my spin is Shelf Life by Seven Mary 3. My shuffle is Knock Me Out by Linda Perry and Grace Slick. And my skip is Jurassitol by Filter. Carrie, thank you so much for this. And to you, our listeners, be sure to tune in 2 weeks when we cover The Crow 1994 soundtrack. And that is going to be, I guarantee you, a monumental task for us. You guys got it easy. All you have to do is listen. Carrie, thank you. To you, our listeners, you guys know the drill. If there is an album that you want us to cover or a band that you want us to cover on There Can Only Be One, be sure to go to our website at notthatbadcast.com. And while you're there, check out our Coming Soon page. You'll see all the episodes we're working on. Drop us a line, tell us your picks, and we'll shout you out in the show. Until next time, she's Carrie. I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Spin Shuffle Skip on the There Can Only Be One podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.